My personal style has always been professional, it's been classic, and that's really how I approach my business as well, is I want to present the best version of myself to the world, and I want to ensure a great experience for our patients as well, and make sure when they come in, they feel like we're giving them our best as well. I'm Dr. Hetz. I'm the medical director of Concept Medical. I'm an entrepreneur, father of two, and health and wellness enthusiast.
Well, thank you for the coffee today.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Dr. Hetz at Concept Medical. We met, I think, in 2017, 2018, and we kept kind of in connection, and I've seen your growth at Concept Medical. I really wanted to have a chat with you today, more about community, style, your healthy habits. So
thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome to the clinic.
It's a beautiful clinic, and so we'll kick off and really wanted to know more, who is Sam Hetz?
Yeah. So where to start? I grew up just outside of Toronto in Oakville, and always knew that I wanted to be a physician. Some kids grow up not knowing what they want to do, and for some reason I always gravitated to medicine. I was interested in how the human body works. I was fascinated with anatomy. So did my undergrad in human kinetics, and I did a master's in kinesiology and health promotion, and then got into med school at U of T. Did med school there. And in undergrad, I met my now wife. So we've been together for almost 20 years now, celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary this year.
Beautiful.
And so then came back here for residency. And I was, for residency, I was debating between family medicine, plastic surgery, dermatology. I knew that I wanted to do something procedural based. I have a creative side, but I had some really great family medicine mentors. Family medicine docs that did Emerge, and they delivered babies, they did procedures, they did Emerge, and I thought, hey, this is really cool. I can do a little bit of everything. So I went to family medicine, realized quickly that I couldn't do the shift work of emergency medicine, and one day I was sitting at my desk, and this is in first year, so this is about almost 10 years ago now. Well, yeah, this would be 10 years ago, and I thought to myself, well, I've heard this term Botox floating around.
Okay.
And so I Googled Botox Ottawa, and a few clinics came up. I cold called a clinic, and that clinic owner at the time got back to me, and I started shadowing and learning and going in on vacation days and days off and post-call days. And after residency, did a year of dermatology and plastics, so did an extra sort of mini fellowship, as I call it. And then I started working at the clinic, and then one day the previous owner said, "Hey, do you want to buy the clinic?" This is in 2016.
Yeah.
And no entrepreneurial background up until that point, other than working, but no entrepreneurial flair, no real strong interest in business at the time. And I thought to myself, well, this is a really unique opportunity. And I thought, worst case scenario, if I buy the clinic and I tank it, then I'll be okay, right? Worst case scenario. So I said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Let's go for it. See what happens.
Absolutely.
And then I just went full gusto into entrepreneurship, and I just loved it. And I realized that, I could use my medicine brain. I could still be a physician, but there was this whole other world that I was just not exposed to, that I didn't look into, that I wasn't taught about in undergrad and medical school, and I had no sort of friends in business. And the rest is really history. So that was, it was almost 10 years ago, and our clinic has scaled from a clinic of about 4 to 5 people. We now have a staff of, I think, 16 or 17, 3 docs, 4 medical estheticians, 2 nurses, a number of support staff, and new location. Well, not so new anymore. It's been a couple of years. And we recently partnered with Dermapure as well, which is sort of the next evolution of our business. So
congratulations!
Thank you. So we're now part of a group of about 80 clinics from across Canada, over 100 docs, building a national medical aesthetics network.
Yeah. So I see you on social media. You're a man of different interests in fashion and style. You're a father. You're a lead as well. And so one of the new ventures that I saw was Lead Minds, and I was really interested. I didn't have the opportunity to attend, but I got FOMO when I saw everything on social media. So give us a little bit about your involvement with Lead Minds.
Yeah. So, Lead Minds is an organization or a group that we started, myself, Amber Stratton from Pure, and then Ashley Shuchuk from Evolve. Three of us were chatting, and we thought to ourselves, there really isn't a networking group focused on business that also has education. And we thought, how great would it be to get like-minded entrepreneurs in the same room, share best practices, have a speaker series, and really share things that have worked well in our business, but then also bring other speakers on, other experts in the field, whether it be finance, whether it be marketing, whether it be growth, whether it be mentorship. There's so many facets of small business that we can learn about and we can share. And the fascinating thing is, in small business, in entrepreneurship, whether you are running a clinic like ours, that you're doing cosmetic treatments, or you're selling suits, or you're a videographer, you're selling and you're offering either a service or a product, and those the knowledge and the skill set are transferable. So we all have something to learn from each other.
Of course.
We had our first event a couple weeks ago at Charlotte. We thought, for our first event, maybe we'll get 20, 30 people. We sold out. So there was close to 90 people.
Yeah.
And we actually have a meeting after this to chat about our next events. But I think it's going to fill a really unique need in the city. There's obviously a desire for it. There's obviously a desire for entrepreneurs to learn and to better themselves.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep going, and we're gonna see where it goes.
Yeah, one of the postings was talking about collaboration, not competition, and so that's something that really stuck out. And I think, as you said, we do have skills that we can learn, and there's a lot of things to do, a lot of good things to do, and that's what I'm finding in Ottawa. Really, there is so much community that is able to support and help you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think people are afraid of collaborating. They're afraid of sharing their proprietary secrets, or especially with people in the same industry.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when you come together and you actually have conversations about with people in the same industry, how much you can learn from each other if you are open and honest with them.
Absolutely. You and I are in healthcare, and our industry is, I think the ratio of females to males is definitely higher. And so I see the book is 200 women. So it is International Women's Month and International Women's Day coming up. So tell us more about the team that you have here.
Yeah, so we, in aesthetics, the landscape and the patients that we see are primarily women, although we're seeing a lot more men.
We'll talk about that.
Coming in. Yeah, when you're ready for a little injectable, you let me know. But in the cosmetic space, most of our patients are women. I would say about 90% or so. But we're seeing more and more men who are looking at aging gracefully, and they want to look their best. They want to look better for longer. They want to age, have that positive aging approach. And so most of our patients are women, and most of our staff are women as well. Women are generally, in terms of medical aesthetics and providing those aesthetic treatments, more women than men sort of venture into that role. And when we look at, nurses and physicians that are doing injectable treatments, it seems to be more female focused as well, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you and I have surpassed that 40 plus mark. Is it okay to say that we're plus 40?
Well, I'm almost there.
You're almost there. Oh, good for you.
Go.
Oh, good for you. I'm already past that. So let's talk about habits. So really interested in what your habits are. So your daily, physical, mental, well-being habits.
Well, this morning I woke up at 5 in the morning.
Beautiful.
Which I don't always do, but I'm trying to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier for multiple reasons. I had personal training from 9 to 10.
Nice.
Popped over here at 10, saw 2 patients relatively quickly, and then we were chatting at 10:30. But people really underestimate, the power of good lifestyle habits and how much influence it can have on your overall health and well-being, right? So good nutrition, exercise, not smoking, not drinking too much, stress management, sleep. You and I are both in medicine. I practiced family medicine for a long time, and you're a family physician. There is so much that we can do preventatively.
Absolutely.
That unfortunately in our current healthcare system, we're not given the time to do it well in most clinics. I know you're a phenomenal family physician and you take the time with your patients, but a lot of doctors don't, and that's a whole nother topic. We can dig deep into our current healthcare issues, but we can really transform people's lives by doing all the right lifestyle things.
True.
And when we look at longevity, we look at health, we look at all-cause mortality, the best medicine we have that beats out any drug any day is exercise. So I prioritize that for me. I do CrossFit or functional fitness at a local gym called CrossFit Hindenburg. I do that about 3 times a week.
Nice.
And then I do personal training 1 day a week. So that's, in the summer I'll do some runs and things like that, get my cardio in. We actually have a gym in the office too. So the staff are encouraged to use it. It's this little sort of hidden gym that most people don't know about. It's sort of tucked away, but it's a lovely space that I encourage the staff to use, and I try to get there about once a week as well.
It's beautiful. I think, those atomic habits, those kind of small incremental, or just keeping those habits are very important. Mentally, what do you do to keep your mentally sane?
So I think that the mental side of things is the part that for a lot of people can be a little bit more challenging, right? We don't see it, right? We don't see the brain health side of things. So for me, sleep is paramount. Right? If I do not get enough sleep, I am not in a good headspace.
What's enough sleep?
So for me, it's about 8 hours.
Okay.
So I try to get a good 8 hours a night.
All right.
Not everyone can.
8 hours.
Yeah. You?
I am trying to get about 7, and I am of a generation where kind of like that hustle and like medical school and you cram.
Yeah.
And so I always kind of think, I'll sleep later. Yeah. And so there's days when I get less sleep than I need, and I'm finding as I age, it's something that is non-negotiable. So I at least 7 hours for me.
Yeah.
But if I can get 8, that's beautiful.
That's a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. And lack of sleep is linked to a number of metabolic issues, cardiovascular issues, Alzheimer's. Yeah. So we know that sleep is really important. So for me, when it comes to my mental well-being, stress is critical. Exercise is critical as well. Limiting my alcohol intake is critical as well. So we know that in people that consume alcohol, especially a lot of it on a regular basis, your anxiety is going to go up, your mood's going to drop. And then overall stress management. I think the biggest thing that I've started implementing this year is saying no to things. And it's been incredibly gratifying because I used to say yes to a lot of things. And you realize that your time is so limited. And then if you're doing a lot of things, you're probably not doing any of them really well. Yeah. So I focus my time on things that either A, make me happy, B, are good for my family, or C, good for my professional career.
Of course.
And if they're good for one of those 3 things, then I usually say yes. If they don't check off one of those boxes, then I tend to decline.
I hear you. I read the Daily Stoic every day, and so this morning was about how we are slaves to the commitments that we think we must be doing or we should be doing, and those kind of social engagements and everything. And so saying no to that and just putting those boundaries is very important because at the end of the day, yes, you could be everywhere and you're not happy.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So let's talk about style, because one of the things that you and I connect over is style as well. And I think every time you and I meet, we talk about watches. And so I see a Cartier on your wrist.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So I love watches. It's a habit that is can be very costly, and so you gotta be particular about them. So when I paid off the clinic, a number of years ago, I bought a Breitling. I brought this
I remember
blue,
that.
yeah, Heritage, and I always wanted a nice watch, so I bought that one. And then my wife actually bought me a really nice watch a couple of years ago, a Rolex Datejust, which was my dream watch, and
That
it's
was
still my dream watch.
your holy grail, right?
Yeah. And for me, and I think for a lot of men, having a really nice timepiece, having a really nice accessory, are things that you can pass down to your kids. You can wear it daily. You can enjoy it.
Yes.
There's less sort of articles that I find are so important than a really nice really nice watch. So I got that one, and then I actually sold the Breitling. It was blue. It was gorgeous, but I just found I wasn't wearing it as much, and so I passed that one on. And then I actually picked up the Cartier from another entrepreneur in the city. He bought it and he wasn't wearing it anymore. And so we're sort of recycling watches. We're passing them to a new home in terms of somebody who can enjoy it more than you can.
I do that as well, but I have a couple of pieces that I'm keeping kind of milestones. So when I turned 40, I have one. When I turn 45, I have ones that are kind of non-negotiables.
Yeah.
But there's ones that I just kind of, as you said, like it's not getting wrist time, so flip it.
Right. And I love watches that you can dress up or dress down. I'm a pretty, I like things that that you can use that are versatile. And so I don't want a watch that I can only wear with one suit, one color. Something like this, you can dress it up, you can dress it down. It's
Absolutely.
a little bit more dressy, but you can totally make it a little bit more casual if you want. It's a versatile piece.
And it's timeless, it's classic.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
What about your other personal style? So I see you in scrubs a lot, the nature of your job.
Yeah.
But your own personal style, how would you define that? What is your go-to pieces?
Yeah, so I wear scrubs basically 9 to 5, Monday to Friday most days. But I love also putting on nice, what I call real people clothes. I tend to wear more slim fit clothing. I find it just sort of fits me better. I don't like that the baggy look. I love a great suit. I don't get in them nearly quite enough. I have a couple really nice belts that I love, but I like that more sort of classic, professional look.
Beautiful. Did anyone have an influence on your style growing up?
Not particularly. No, not particularly. I can't say there's sort of one person that's impacted my style, but I've always liked to look presentable. I don't want to walk into a room and be underdressed or look frumpy, because I think the amount of effort you put into the way that you present yourself is the amount of effort that you put into other facets of your life.
Absolutely.
So I always like to look good.
Yes.
I don't need to have designer shoes and designer pants all the time, and I think these are actually from Zara, which I love Zara.
Absolutely.
They fit well. They're great. But I want to look good.
Yes.
I want to look like my mother used to say, or says, you want to look like a mensch.
Absolutely. That's good advice for people who are definitely men venturing into business or venturing into that new role that they want to be in as well. Is there any other piece of advice that you have for entrepreneurs or people who are going into the business world?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice is you have to just start. I was talking to a business owner yesterday and talking about some coaching and mentorship and consulting work that we might partner on. The biggest thing that I see is new entrepreneurs just not starting. They analyze, they want to get all the pieces together, but then they fail to actually execute. And at some point you have to do that.
Yeah.
Right? You can have all the information, but you need to actually move. You need to move forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's interesting because on Monday I attended a talk at Invest Ottawa, and there was the F Factor to celebrate International Women's Month, and so Michelle Romano was there, who is a Dragon's Den, and she's a business person as well, and that was her message as well. Like you at some point you have to start.
Yeah.
A lot of people just plan and never start, and so that's something that you have to sink in.
And your plan is going to change. A lot of people like to have this 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan. And that's great. But that's not going to be the path that you will absolutely take, right?
Yes.
Things are going to change.
Absolutely.
And so you have to be able to, switch lanes and actually change gears a little bit to accommodate for those internal and external factors.
Yes.
You have to plan, sure, and we every year would have a strategic plan, and we would look at it and say, okay, what's working, what's not working, and that plan would change.
Yes. We always think of our life or the challenges as linear, and it's never is. I mean, I moved to Canada in 2006. It was never in my mind to move to Canada, but I ended up here.
Yeah.
And then I ended up in Saskatchewan for 4 years, and it was never in my mind to work in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you plan, absolutely, but then sometimes an opportunity comes and you take it.
Totally. My big thing is I never turn down a conversation. If somebody wants to meet with me, if somebody's taking time out of their day to say, hey, I'd love to sit down and chat, whether it's on camera, whether it's a coffee date, whether it's like yesterday, I chatted with a consultant at 5 o'clock about a few things. I always say yes, because you never know where those conversations are going to go. They might not go anywhere. It might just be,
Absolutely.
Lunch and you're meeting somebody new, or you're, brainstorming, but usually there's something there.
Yes.
And it usually opens up a door of some sort, whether it's for them or whether it's for you.
Yeah.
But I think, just sort of coming full circle and talking, more about the networking side of things, it's critical. It's critical, meeting other like-minded people.
Yeah. No, I completely agree on the networking. After the pandemic, I felt, Ottawa was a new city for me. So I really went out and started to network and develop those professional and social networks. And for me, the quota was meet one new person at every event and learn one bit of new information at every event. Of course, after 10, 15 minutes, you've met more than one person, but at least you go there just meeting one new person and learning one new thing.
Yeah. And what does that do for you, Anwar? Like what, networking when you go out, like you're in family practice.
Yes.
You have a full practice, I assume. Maybe you don't, but if I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
So what do you find that does for you on a personal or professional level?
That's a question I get asked a lot. It's like, yes, you're a family doctor. Why are you here? Are you building a business? Are you wanting more clients? Because we can definitely keep you busy. And the idea for me was really to establish roots. I like the idea that Ottawa has become home for me now, where I'm able to walk down the street or go somewhere and I know people. And I think the social capital, the connections that we have is very, very important. And some of the relationships that I have had and met are real good friends. Some I have learned from. It helps me grow as a man, as a business, grow in the community as well. So I find Ottawa has a beautiful philanthropic community as well, and so much is happening. And so the idea is Ottawa's boring, you just have to know who the right networks are.
So it gives you personal gratification to create those relationships.
Absolutely.
And that network.
Absolutely. Yeah. So really it's establishing roots. I think, as an immigrant to Canada and to Ottawa, I find, it's beautiful to know people in the city because I can be as busy as I want in my clinic, and you know that. I mean, we can work from 8 o'clock to 12 hours and we can be as busy, but it's those networks, the connections that we have, the conversations that we have are those that really help us grow.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I always focus on my client experience and making sure that people have a great experience. And part of that, a big part of that is the relationship, right? People want to feel special. They want to know you. You want to know them. And I think about some of the great experiences that I've had at different different venues, different restaurants, for example. And it's, why do I love to go to a restaurant? Well, yeah, the food's great, but I also have a relationship with the owner, or I know the server. There's that connection there that makes me feel good as a person.
Yes.
So it definitely resonates with me.
I think we're always in life, we're always looking for the next big thing and the next best experience, but a lot of the things that we could really benefit from are just around us, like the local store, the local bar or the restaurant, and like the business.
Something like this, like a conversation like we're having.
Absolutely, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you're a busy man, thank you, but finally, what is next for Dr. Hetz?
Yeah. So, we have a few things on the go. Our clinic is obviously going strong. We want to see it continue to succeed. So a lot of my energy goes into Concept Medical, which is now part of DermaPure. I'm getting more and more interested in preventative health and sort of the crossroads between business and health. And so I've actually been asked to do a talk later this month for a relatively large conference for real estate agents around health, wellness, and how that integrates with business. So I'm exploring different things that I really enjoy and that bring me gratification and enjoyment. So we have a few things on the go.
Beautiful. Can I get an invite for that
Sure.
event?
Sure.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
That is something interesting. Really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
I appreciate your connection and the friendship that we have. You are something that I look for as a role model in the community and as a physician, as a father as well. So wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you.